Hold on, Terry.
Hey, Insiders! It's time for the Microphone Insider Live Video Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 10. Our guest this week is someone who's been shaping the voiceover industry in all the best ways. She's the head of casting at Sound and Fury, a fantastic VO coach, and the creator of the VO Library, which, to be honest, is basically a treasure chest for voice actors. She's got an incredible ear for talent, a knack for bringing out the best in performers, and probably more casting stories than we have time for. We're beyond excited to have her here. Our guest this week, Tina Morasco!
Yeah.
What an intro. I loved that.
Oh, that wasn't even your actual intro. Hold on a moment. That was our show intro. We'll get to you in a moment. Yeah, we're ready to go, too. Totally Tina tonight. We're excited. We do want to say sorry that Rebecca Lee couldn't join us tonight. She's feeling a bit under the weather. Rumor has it she might be joining us in the chat, so we'll keep a lookout for that. She might be disguising herself as Dorian, so we have to try to decipher if it's really her or if it's Dorian. So what else? Very quickly, I just want to remind you that this weekend, Saturday, I'm doing my website class, $25. Go to themicrophoneinsider.com. $25 donation. 100% is going to NAVA for the Emergency Relief Fund. So there's a couple of spots available for that. Also, I got a message today. Actually, it's my first message on Instagram. I feel kind of old and weird at the same time. But do you guys remember we did that fundraiser with Johnny Heller, raising money for the audiobook author whose house burnt down pre-LA fires? This was just a fluke accident. He reached out. He saw the donation on the GoFundMe page, reached out and wanted to thank me, and I explained to him what we did and who Johnny was and passed that on to Johnny as well. So great job. I think we raised close to $1,000 that day. So that was all kinds of cool. All right. So Rebecca couldn't join us today. So we have Mike with us and Terry trying to fill the seats of Rebecca. You know, you add two uglies together, you don't get it pretty. And there's way too much facial hair on the show now, too. So,
no, you know what? No, we're staging a coup, baby. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's get to it. Let's find out what Terry's cooking this week.
If Terry can cook it, you can too. His friends are his reason to bring food to you.
I don't even know what to say.
Chef Briscoe Power, bringing dinner to yours and mine.
Just gets better every other week, man. Just
It's
gets better every
the
time.
worst ever.
All right, y'all. Today we got quick, fast, easy, and delicious. We have no peak beef tips. I heard this from Patrick Kirchner first, and I was like, I don't know what that is. So I looked it up, and then I made it today.
If Pat said something called no peak beef, I'd be kind of leery on that from Pat. Just saying. Just throwing it out there, guys.
These are your ingredients.
All right.
We got 1.5 pounds of stew meat, 1.5 pounds of ground beef, 1 can of cream of mushroom garlic soup, and 1 packet of brown gravy, and 1 pack of beefy onion soup mix. Steps are very easy. Preheat that oven to 300 degrees. Mix all the ingredients together in a baking or casserole dish. Cover it with foil and bake it for 3 hours, but no peeking. And extra credit, if you want to make it more of a shepherd's pie, just top it with mashed potatoes and shredded cheddar, and then put it back in the oven in a broil for about 5 minutes, and then you get that beauty right there.
Yeah, because if you don't top it with the potatoes, it looks kind of, Yeah, so.
That's why you don't peek.
It's still delicious, though. It's still delicious.
All right, let's bounce things over to Mike, find out what's happening on the tech scene. Mike, what's happening?
Hey, so I wanted to talk about one piece of equipment, and I found one really good deal this week. So equipment-wise, we've gone through a bunch of different interfaces. We've talked about some microphones. We talked about, mice and keyboards. One thing I think that a lot of people don't put enough thought into is the dock that they use. If you're using like a MacBook Air or another, silent PC or whatnot. We've talked about industrial PCs and stuff in the past. They don't have a whole lot of ports. But what I have found is USB-C Thunderbolt 4 docks are kind of like future-proof, and they'll work with your Mac Mini, they'll work with your MacBook Air, they'll work with any kind of Windows machine, but they have to be properly certified, or you end up with some kind of nonsense involved. What I have is the Sonnet Echo 11 Thunderbolt 4 dock. And why I like it is because it's below $200. A lot of these Thunderbolt 4 docks can be pretty expensive. It's certified for Mac and Windows. It has a ton of ports because a lot of them will only give you USB-C ports on it or whatnot. This one gives you your RJ45 Ethernet jack, 3 Thunderbolt 3.1 and 3.2 ports, 4 or so USB-C ports that are all Thunderbolt as well, a headphone jack built into it, SD card readers, and it does, I believe, 90-watt charging, so you can have it as the sole connection for your MacBook. I'll put the link for it in the chat in YouTube, and if you're interested in something like that, it's a good place to take a look at and start. And of course, I'm gonna have to shorten that link because it is too long. I'll put it there in a little bit. Other thing that I just found is that there's a really cool website called KVR, kvraudio.com. Found a bunch of different deals on there over the course of time, but today, pardon me, and through March 3rd, they've got Isotope RX11 standard for sale. Really, really cheap. Price on that was going to be $239 for the whole thing, just straight out. And if you want to upgrade, it's like $120 if you have any previous version of a RX standard. And then $179 from any Isotope product at all. So if you have RX Elements or, some 5-year-old version of RX Elements, you can upgrade to the full thing for less than $200. Normally it's $300 straight up for the actual product. I'll put a link for that into the chat as well. That does all the really great mouth declicking and, a lot of the editing kind of wizardry that goes on in the background for a lot of folks. You can get set up as custom buttons in your DAW. So, yeah, that's stuff I was thinking about and looking at this week and wanted to pass along. If you have questions about docks or any other kind of connectivity technology, I'm happy to talk about that. I'm a networking professional in my Clark Kent job, so happy to talk to you more about it.
All right, Mike. Hey, I just want to point this out to our tech guy. You posted that in the wrong chat. You post that in the interview chat, not the...
No, I posted it there so I'd have it actually set up for
Okay, just making sure. Have you read some of the comments that we have going on here? I mean, if you just read these comments and just, read these out of context.
You got to have more ports.
Yep, just found that out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very cool doc. Yeah, and Tony ditto, whatever that means. So, not quite sure. And wow, that looks too easy. Yeah, well, thank you. That's what we call it, the Microphone Insider. All right, cool. Let's not waste any time. Let's just get to our guest. She is one of my favorite creatures in the world. She is a huge fan of cricket, so because of that, she's a huge fan of mine. Way before that, actually. We were friends before cricket. Wow, she likes me for me.
Were we?
Yeah, we were. Don't fight. Don't take this away from me. Hold on a second. Let's get her intro.
We were BC.
She can shatter my dreams right after this. Terry, do it justice, brother.
All right, everyone. Today's guest is a powerhouse in the voiceover world. She's the head of casting at Sound and Fury, a top-notch VO coach, and the creator of the VO library. With years of experience in both performance and casting, she knows exactly what it takes to book the job. Please welcome the amazing Tina Morasco.
Wow, that was an amazing intro.
Yes, thank you, ChatGPT. Appreciate that. Cool. We have a whole Tina chant going on here. Tina,
oh my God.
But it's not over yet. Hold on. Tina.
I love you guys. And I was, honestly, Mike, when I was listening to you talk, I thought, this is what I thought. I thought, when the aliens come and find me and they beam me up to their spaceship, I will probably understand their language more than I understood a word of what you just said. I am so non-technical. Like, what you all do to make it palatable for my ears, God bless you. And I really take my hat off to you because I didn't understand one single thing that you said.
Well, then my job is done here.
Yes, exactly. And expect many, many phone calls and screams of tech support.
Oh
anytime
my God, absolutely.
I'm around.
Anytime. I'm up all night.
You've
Don't
already-
worry about it.
You've already bailed me out of one, so.
Do you guys hear chia with this one? Tina.
Tina.
Put these up here. How's that? Huh?
Oh,
No?
my.
What else do you have going on here? Tina, when are you going to adopt me? I thought, wait a minute, didn't Liz Atherton already adopt you or something?
This
I
is
mean,
illegal in
I'm
34
pretty sure-
states.
I'm pretty sure you
Katie.
belong
Yeah,
to Liz Atherton.
we're actually in a legal battle, Liz and I, over adopting Katie, and we're gonna have to leave it up to the states at this point.
Why don't we settle it in the octagon?
oh,
Tina versus Liz.
let me get
Can I
James.
borrow
You do like-
your axe?
You can
Can I
borrow
borrow
the battle
your
axe.
King
yes.
Solomon. You can use Mike's axe to chop her in half.
With that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we can do that.
Hold on, let me get J. Michael on the phone here. See if we can have the Octagon at VOA on Saturday night
Oh,
instead of the wig
gosh.
party. Right before the wig party. How's that sound?
Perfect.
All right, Tina Fantasco. Oh, look at that.
Aw.
Fantasco Morasco. I like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
Look at that.
Hello.
love it.
All right, cool. If you guys have any questions for Tina, write them in the comment and just be, just make sure that you say, question or put a Q there so we know that it's not just part of the ramblings that go on in the chat, which are great to watch and love. And I bring up the funny stuff when I find it. But if you have any questions, let us know and put a Q there as well. Tina Morasco, our favorite librarian. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a whole new wing of the library just opened up recently. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't intend for it to be a wing. It just kind of turned into a wing. Yeah. It's another 45 minutes of content dropped yesterday for your viewing and listening pleasure. And it's just, like all the latest and greatest musings from my deranged VO psyche.
All right.
Yeah. So, if you're a library member, check the shelves. If you are not a library member yet, you can absolutely jump in and get your library card anytime. The more the merrier. I would love to get all of this information out to every voice actor out there.
If I remember correctly, Mike, you won your copy of the VO library
did.
with our 12K giveaway Christmas in July thing, right? This is
Yeah,
before you
I
were
think-
part of the TMI family.
Yeah, that was, I think, like right after my first year of starting this is invaluable stuff. I've been very lucky. I have been very, very lucky.
You
Yeah, no,
have
I
been
love it. The
very
library's awesome.
lucky.
Oh, actually, this was for the fundraiser we did for Bobby Alcott. Is that Bobby?
That's what it was.
That's
in
what it
December
was.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah. We did raffle tickets for it, and you and I think Grace won actually too, which is
Yeah,
Grace-
I think
yeah.
so.
yeah, which is kind of weird. at the time,
Mike
so
just joined one of our library study groups.
Those
not
are
too
fun.
I
long
did.
ago.
Eye-opening.
So great to have ya.
Extremely eye-opening.
Good. Yeah, it's a good group. I mean, it's just the work is just crazy awesome. Everybody's just so, off the charts in terms of like they're like implementing these tools. It makes my heart so happy.
Because it is so tough to book time with you because you are such a busy person. I am fortunate that I get, maybe 5 or 6 hours a year, which is great. But on the off months when we're not doing our thing,
Yeah.
I attend the library meetings at
do?
least once per month just because it keeps you fresh. It keeps you going.
Yeah. And you know what I think is so great? Like private coaching is amazing for a million obvious reasons, right? You get that one-on-one time. We get to review your previous auditions, and I can really get very personal with you, and we can unpack everything and reverse engineer it and all of that. But what you get in the group that you can't get one-on-one is really witnessing other people's processes. And like, I know there's a lot of groups out there, and I'm sure there are a lot of really, really excellent groups out there. But when everybody has a shared language, if everybody is working the technique from the library and everybody has the shared language, and you guys tell me, but there's not a lot of me teaching. There's a lot of like coming in at a really high level and going, okay, let's look at this lesson. You kind of like what we need to do here is, make sure we're playing with the repeated words properly, or whatever lesson it is from the library. Everybody has that shared foundation and understanding. And so the work just escalates so quickly, and so much learning and growth comes out of it. And a lot of times, questions come up about some anecdotal experience I have just had when I was casting something, and there's just so much learning that comes out of that in real time that doesn't really happen in a one-on-one, because we're so focused on just your stuff. So I feel like there's just value in both, and also the community has been the voiceover community as a whole, and you guys are such a great representation of that, is so off the charts. Like, not only the kindest, most generous, most uplifting group, but also so fun and hilarious, and whatever. So we have a blast, and I leave every single one going like, that's the most fun I've had all month, and just so heartening to watch how the library work is resonating in your day-to-day auditions.
And you can learn so much from the other people that are involved, that are working with you during these library sessions. Terry had a question, more of a statement, more of a demand, I think. Still looking for those Tina on your shoulder plush toys.
Yeah, I know. You know what? We had some manufacturing issues, and so the string kept breaking. The string kept breaking.
It's the tariffs. Blame the tariffs.
Yes,
yes, they're coming in from Canada, so we have to hold on. We have a question from Tony. Tina, if you had to start in the VO business today, what would be your approach?
That is such a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that, because it would be, my approach now would be so different than it was when I got in. I really truly think that, obviously I would start with great coaching and really plug into groups like this, plug into Facebook groups, soak up as much knowledge as I could. But what is so different now that didn't exist when I had to when I was starting off, is just really getting truly getting the education of direct marketing, working the pay to plays, and really being an entrepreneur and going after my own work. That is something that I never really had to do, because I came in at a time where that didn't exist, right? And so, once again, with how technically savvy you all are, and then also the business savvy that you all have, that I don't possess either of those skills, that I would really have to start there, and my education would really be focused on that. But it's, I would make sure that I was constantly feeding all three of those streams. I would constantly be performance coaching. I would also be business coaching, and I would be making sure that my tech capabilities were competitive and up to snuff too, because you really have to have all three of those boxes checked to be successful and to be working right now. And it's, it is a full-time job that requires so much tenacity, and I just give you all so much credit.
Truth be told. Hey, question for you.
Yes.
Love it or list it. New season coming back?
Yes, and I just found out yesterday that
Awesome.
there's not gonna be any voiceover. No voiceover. No, we're not.
No.
Well, I guess my next question is how do I get them here to my house? But I guess that's
Oh, I know. Well,
damn it.
I mean, it's
I'm
so
listing
funny that
that
you bring
show.
that up, because I literally just got the bad news yesterday.
I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
20 seasons. Well,
Good
I've
job,
done
Tim.
19 seasons. This is
I've been
season-
stalking your email, so I knew it came in. I want to give breaking news. The Microphone Insider, TMI. So
I think, I think they're just completely reformatting. And I will say that, over the years, I started doing that, I think, in 2011, and it used to be absolutely 60 minutes of copy, literally 15, 20, 25 pages of copy, just wall to wall. And then as the seasons went on, it would be less and less and less and less and less and less, to the point where, the last season, I was just kind of doing quick intros at the top of each act and then kind of closing it out. So I'm not 100% surprised, but I am
Right.
sad.
Katie says business coaching. Second time I've seen someone mention that this week. Not to defer from your time, but very quickly, I'm speaking with Tom Deere. Even as we speak, we had his workshop on Tuesday night, and it was so informative. People loved it, and he has so many business coaching things that we might do a monthly coaching session with Tom Deere. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. Pretty excited.
I
about
do.
that.
And I can expound on that a little bit from my casting point of view. I think the reason that I would recommend that is because, and you all know this, and this is not to be discouraging at all. It's, getting an agent and playing on the bigger stuff that tends to go out to casting directors, the big national brand campaign stuff. That is obviously the holy grail. That's what everybody's
Right.
striving for. You want to be sitting there watching the Super Bowl and hearing your voice, that's the goal for everybody. Right? But even I jokingly say this all the time. I wish I was best friends with Meryl Streep because I would have her read for every one of these. And I swear to you, if she went in under a pseudonym, she wouldn't book any of them either. It's just the competition is so robust, and that is not to be discouraging. That is actually the opposite. It's actually to take some of the onus and some of the pressure off of you all. If you're out there going like, gosh, I'm looking at my ratio of my booking ratio with my agents, and it's very, very low. I'm here to tell you that probably most people's are. There's a very, very small percentage of folks that are really out there making their living just through the work they procure from their agents. I think the majority of the people that are out there crushing it, it's a hybrid. It's like, a certain percentage comes from their agents. A larger percentage probably comes from work that they're out there hustling and getting on their own in all the different ways, whether it's paid plays, direct marketing, or whatever. So I think it is so important to be educated and to find your way in terms of like, maybe you're not a great cold emailer or whatever, but then there's a million other ways you can like find your way into network and to get into those. And there's so many very smart people out there teaching it and teaching those courses. And if I were to switch back and just solely be pursuing voiceover right now, that would be like my first step.
Very cool. Question for you. This is kind of off topic. The over-under is 24 inches. I picked the under. How far is the closest Coke Zero to you right now?
Oh my gosh. You picked the under? You might
under.
have won.
24 inches? Is it an arm's length away?
Less than an arm's length.
I'm in. I'm in. There we go.
But it is unopened, so there has been some restraint exercise.
How are you not the official spokesperson of Coke Zero?
I'm
I know.
a huge fan too.
Not sponsored, but hit me up.
You should really manifest that.
I know, absolutely.
Who do you think of the top 3 VO people right now? I'm thinking Mike, Terry, and Jim, but what do you think,
go.
Tina?
It's a simple answer.
I mean, we're right here for you, Julie.
I'm gonna go with Mike, Terry, and Jim only because I don't want to like wuss out and plead the fifth on that, but it's I don't think so. This is not intended to be a politically correct answer. I wouldn't even say anybody could answer that question right now because it just depends on. So my whole mantra, like what I will say to anybody who will listen is I never, ever, ever want to speak in generalities, right? So like to say that there are top 3 people, it would be like, well, there's top 3 of, this type of storyteller. There's a top 3 of this type of like classic announcer sound. There's a top 3 of that, And what I'm here to say is that every single solitary piece of copy should be treated like its own unique snowflake, right? And so every single story requires a different set point, a different energy, a different temperament, a different version of you telling that story. And so every single solitary story that we cast is probably going to be best suited to a different VO artist. So I would say, the really exciting news, I think, that this will kind of answer that question in a roundabout way. I would say in 2020 and 2021, there were like top people that were booking a really large percentage of what we were casting. There was one male voice and one female voice that was really gobbling up so much of the work. And I will say, since 2022 till now, if, let's say, hypothetically, we cast 300 commercials in a year, which is probably a pretty close estimate,
Wow.
I would dare say, and one day when I have a little spare time, I'm going to quantify this. I would dare say if we cast 300 commercials in a year, I would say 280 would be booked by 280 different voice artists. And maybe there would be 20 actors who, this one booked 3, this one booked 4, this one booked 2, but like the vast majority. And so what I'm garnering from that is that advertisers really do want something unique. They want something that can really feel like their own, that is matching the tone of the story they're telling, and they don't want the tried and true, right? So even if there are people that are out there crushing it, if they're going to be very saturated, then advertisers hear that and they're like, oh, but isn't that the voice of Walmart, or isn't that the voice of such and such, or you know what I mean, or Coke Zero, or whatever it is. And so they want something that becomes synonymous with their brand, that becomes identifiable with their brand. So that's really good news for everyone out there, because that means that you have just as good of a shot as the people who are out there kind of crushing it. You might even have a better shot than them, because you could be that fresh sound that they go, this is the sound that we want to identify with for our story.
All right, we have
So there's
5 or
listening
6.
fatigue from clients.
What'd you say?
So I said at this point, there's like listening fatigue from clients themselves, from just hearing the same voices over and over again.
Absolutely. And that's so often why they come to us for casting, because they know we cast this very, very, very wide net and we are exhaustive in our search, and we're constantly looking for outside the tried and true, but that doesn't mean the tried and true can't get in. It's all about the connection to the story. So we'll find that in any, you know what I mean, like under any rock, under any, there's going to be no stone unturned. And that's why they come to us. So we can kind of cast the widest net possible and find the hidden gems that, aren't sort of on rotation in their ears.
Nice.
We're at the 27-minute mark, and the over-under for saying the word specificity was 27 minutes, and it did not happen. So if you had the under on specificity, you have lost. All right, we have I'm just making this up. I'm kidding.
That is hilarious.
You almost got there.
I'm actually
Announcery has not been said either.
Yeah, but that's
you know what? I haven't heard a single slick. Not
or
a single
salery,
slick.
yeah. All right, listen, we have probably
nothing.
6 or 7
fresh
questions
material.
for you right now. So let's get to our questions from our audience.
Okay.
Mike, I'll get back to you. Let's get to Mariella. Yeah.
Mariella.
Terry.
Yeah, from Mariella Poltadano. Can you talk about the importance of believing yourself in this business?
Oh, well, you know that. You know how I believe in you, Mariella.
Ooh, sorry.
Whoa,
something's going crazy.
I'm going to answer this by saying it's not just in this business, it's in life. So actually this is actually very, very timely. So one of my very regular coaching clients called me this week and was really down. And we started the conversation about voiceover, and about like what was going on and how that was impacting her, and on and on. And very, very quickly, the conversation went to much more deeper relationship with yourself, kind of like what was revealed was much, much, much deeper than the surface. So your relationship with yourself is the basis for everything. It's the basis for how others perceive you. It is the basis for the energy that you put into the work. And I cannot stress enough how energy is palpable. So like if you believe in yourself and you're confident and you go into the booth with joy and intention and you can't wait to play and you're not worried about getting it right, you're not worried about booking the job, you're not worried about what your agents are going to think, you're not worried about listening to previous voices who've done this and imitating that. If you just go in ready to express yourself in a truthful, authentic way, and you're so confident in that even if there's a mistake in the copy, like the way you deliver the copy or whatever, it doesn't matter. It overrides it. That confidence overrides everything. And that's really the essence of what we're listening for, is your truthful, well, first of all, your understanding of the story, your truthful connection to it, and then the conviction with which you share it. And that conviction comes from you really believing in yourself. So believe in yourself, not based on, it's not evidential, right? It's not, or whatever the right form of that word is. It's not going to be based on evidence of how much you've booked or what the feedback is. It's believing that you are a creative being and you love doing this work, you understand what's being asked, and you just connect in. And that is really the key. I'm listening for that. I'm listening for that spark of interactivity and joy in what you're doing, and that draws me in instantly. So it's everything, but it's also how you are with yourself in life too, because how you are in life is how you are in the booth. There's no separating that.
Yeah. All right, Mike, Venus had a question.
Sure. Tina, can you talk about what grabs you in an audition and what makes you say, like, that's the one?
Okay. So I kind of just touched on it. So what always grabs me in an audition is when the focus is not on you. It's not about you trying to show how you're going to stand out. When I can hear that you're putting all of your attention on the story and you're really, really truly understanding the story with nuance, and you are telling that from your nice, relaxed, open point of view, that's what draws me in. And then also really, really, truly taking all the specs into consideration and then bringing that full version of you that matches the specs to it. So it's never going to be a gimmick or, you got to do something in the first 2 seconds to get noticed. That's not how you get noticed with our stuff. How you get noticed with our stuff is really creating a truthful moment before the story starts that you believe that first line is in response to, connecting into that, settling in, and then truthfully responding. So I'll give you an example. So instead of, I'm trying to think of a script off the top of my head. Instead of you going, okay, if the first line, if it's one of those spots where you're observing what's happening on camera and responding, and the first line is, you are going to phone it in tonight. And what we're seeing, and it's all written out on the script, is a woman sitting at her vanity with her makeup in front of her, and she has her hair in a ponytail, and she was just gonna, kind of go super casual. And instead of you going like, you were gonna phone it in tonight, which is casual and conversational and,
Right.
all of the things in the specs. I don't want that. I want to hear you kind of settle into that opening moment. Imagine in your mind's eye, you're seeing her and you're like,
So.
you were gonna, no, I don't even want the so.
Oh.
We're on video or we're just on audio?
We're on video.
We're on video.
Okay, great. So everybody watch what
Surprise.
I'm saying. So what I want to hear is, I want to hear the silence, but look at how much is going on in my creation. So I'm seeing her and I'm like, you were gonna phone it in tonight. Do you see how much more specific that is? But all there was in the beginning was silence. I didn't have to say my pre-life. I didn't have to give you some ad-libby lead-ins. I mean, sometimes it'll make sense to do that, but it's more about settling into the reality of the scene and responding truthfully to it. So that moment where I would only really hear silence, but the intention would be so clear because of that setup, that's what I'm listening for. That's what draws me in. And that's what makes me go, that's the one.
Cool. All right. Mike had a question. If you find that you are extremely loud and you are way too over the top with your delivery, what would you do to help your auditions? Now, he's asking for a friend, so
Definitely asking for a friend.
asking for a friend, yeah.
Well, I would say Mike's friend.
Mike's friend, yeah.
I would say that I bet you Mike's friend isn't always loud. I bet there are circumstances in which Mike's friend, or should I talk to Mike's friend's wife?
Or maybe talk to his friends. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe talk to his friends. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe his friends could tell you. Yeah.
So if that is your authentic set point, right? I talk about this in the library, right? It's really important to the first step is admitting that you have a problem. No, it's the first step is self-awareness. Okay. It's like, hi, I'm Mike and I'm loud. Hi.
I'm a loudaholic.
Yeah, that'll happen.
No, so the first step is self-awareness, right? So it's knowing what your natural energetic set point is. And let's talk in your language, and we'll talk in technical terms, right? So that's your 0 dB. Your 0 dB setting is loud, according to you, right? So then you go, okay, so that's my natural set point. I'm going to read the specs, and I'm going to get a sense of what the tone and the mood and the energy is of the story. And based on that, I'm going to adjust my dB to match the tone and the energy and the mood of that. So like if it says, hey, this person speaks with quiet confidence and they're the kind of actor that draws us in. For you to draw me in, you can't be pushing your energy at me, right? So you go, okay, I'm going to set my dB, and I don't mean literally, I mean metaphorically. Yeah. I'm going to set my metaphoric dB to -6 for this. And that doesn't mean volume. It will equate to that, but it means instead of sitting up and leaning in and pushing my energy out, I'm going to instead sit back, think about pulling that person in, and just kind of asking a thought-provoking question like, okay, but let me ask you something. Is making financial progress just about moving forward? Right? That's a whole different thing is making financial progress just about moving forward? So it's about, and it's knowing that. So like my dB is pretty intense too in a different way. My 0 dB setting is very bright and bouncy and handed to you on a silver platter and very golden retriever. So for me, I would have to do the same thing on 90% of what we cast. I would have to really pull my dB down.
I'm a shotgun. I come out of the gate hard.
Yeah.
M60.
Yeah.
And that's and Jim, right? This is what we're always working on.
Always working on it, yeah.
It's getting you to settle, have the moment before, and then respond. So you're not just getting shot out of a cannon every time.
Excellent. All right, Terry, Katie had a question for the lovely Miss Tina.
From Katie Jostock. Katie, let's say a voice actor gets a script and they have no idea how to approach it. What would be the first thing you'd advise them to do?
Go to tinamorascocoaching.com and purchase the library.
Yes.
For the win.
No, truly, like, I have a very, very, very simple 4-step process that I outline very, very clearly and succinctly in the library, and then I hammer it to death. But it really is about that. So I will give it away here because it requires some practice and stuff. But the 4 steps really are. Step 1 is to really read the specs very, very, very carefully and ask yourself which authentic version of you matches those specs. And so what I mean by that is you're not going to do anything to change your voice, manipulate your voice at all in commercials anymore. It's not like the old days where you put on the sound of warm healthcare or the sound of cool beer guy or the sound of luxury car or any of that, right? Everything is a nice, relaxed, open voice. And how you adapt to the specs is you just go, okay, which authentic version of me matches those specs? So if it says, this person speaks with authority, depth, and gravitas. Well, this is me, Tina, speaking with authority, depth, and gravitas right now. But if you notice, I'm slumped over. I got sweatpants on. I got my Coke Zero here. I'm not putting on the sound or the air of authority. I'm not going like, now I'm giving you all of my voiceover knowledge and I'm sounding like a very professional person. No, that's not it. So it's which version of you. So if it says this person speaks with authority, depth, and gravitas, then you ask yourself, hey, what do people come to me for advice on? What can I speak about with authority without any preparation? That's the version of me that matches those specs. If it says like, hey, he's our funniest friend who's always cracking the one-liners in the back of the room, then it's you three right now. And it's like, that's the version of you you're going to bring to those specs, right? So that's step one. Step two, read the script as if you're reading a screenplay silently to yourself without putting any voice to it before you understand what the story is. Read the on-camera italicized action because there are so many clues that actors miss by not reading that. Where we were casting for Credit Karma once, this is a while ago. And it was all about the voiceover being the ambassador to the Credit Karma verse, which was going to be the psychedelic world, very like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, you know, and like very Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory-esque. And before the voiceover speaks, the on-camera direction said, as the camera slowly pans in, we hear a voice begin to meander, okay? That gives you the pace and the tone right there. And the first line was, this is how it feels to use Credit Karma. 90% of the people were like, this is how it feels to use Credit Karma, or like, this is how it feels to use Credit Karma. Like nobody reads. And so you're shooting yourself in the foot. If you're my ambassador to this weird psychedelic wonderland and we hear the voice begin to meander, it's probably like the person who you're guiding into this magical universe is probably like, wow. And you're like, yeah, this is how it feels to use Credit Karma. Do you hear how different that is?
You're so good, Tina. It's not fair when you do it.
No, it's all right there on the page. I swear to God. Okay, so
that's why we need the plushies. One on each shoulder.
Yes, the plushie.
Read the script. Read the specs.
Read the specificity.
Oh, drink. Specificity 3 times.
So step one, which version of you matches the spec? Step two, read that script like you're reading a screenplay and ask yourself, what is the story? Okay, what is the story? And I mean, dumb it down to its essence, because I can't even tell you how many people will grab an adjective from the specs, slap it on their voice, and just say the words without any understanding of the meaning of the story. Okay, and like, am I pressed for time? Because I have a really good example.
No, you're great.
Continue.
Okay. Yeah. We're on Tina time, so go for it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Tina time.
We were casting something and it was about climate change, and the specs were young, hip, cool Gen Z, and Zendaya was a prototype. Okay. So, but then the specs went on to say, even though they're young and youthful, they have been dedicating their life to climate change, and they speak with authority, depth, and gravitas on the subject matter to give it the weight and magnitude it deserves. Nobody read that. They saw young, hip, cool Zendaya. That's it. And then there were lines in the story that said, it doesn't improve our life, the technology that we have to end this crisis. There was a line that said, it doesn't improve our lives, it just preserves life on Earth. And then the last line was, Air Company, extinction ends here. And everybody saw young, hip, cool Gen Z. So they all did like this vocal fry, and they were like, it doesn't improve our lives, it just preserves life on Earth. Air Company, extinction ends here. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're talking about extinction of the human race, right? there was no understanding of what the story meant. They just were playing the adjectives of the spec. Okay. So you have to understand the story. Now you can still be young, hip, and cool, understand that story, and imagine you're on a podcast and be like, listen, I know people are freaking out. Like, and I'm freaking out too. It's my generation that's going to have to live in this. But guess what? We have the technology, and no, it's not going to improve your life right now, but it is going to preserve life on Earth. Air Company. Extinction ends here, right? That's still young. I mean, I'm not young, but that is still, if I was much younger, that would still be a young, hip, cool delivery, but it's honest, and it's in alignment with the story, and there's understanding of the story. Okay. So step 1, what version of you matches the specs? Step 2, what the heck is the story? Step 3, the tale as old as time. Who are you talking to? But not, I'm talking to somebody who needs new car insurance. That's so non-specific. I'm talking to my dumb brother-in-law who keeps getting Geico renewed because he thinks the gecko is hilarious, but he breaks down on the side of the road all the time. So maybe he should consider AAA, right? That's going to be a much more specific person to talk to. And then step 4, and this is the most important step and will put you ahead of 90% of the pack. Because these are, you know this already, Jim, because these are stories and they're films that you're acting in, right? Play the reality of the scene. So what did the person you're talking to just say or do? Or what did you just witness if you're the voiceover who's observing what's happening on camera in the scene that forces you to respond with the first line of the script? So the first line of the script must be like I just demonstrated, in the last 2 examples, right? That first line must be a genuine, truthful response to something. And so here's my last little give it away for free moment. If you were an actor and you're doing a stage play and you open your play for the first time and your character's first line was the word ouch, you would never take center stage and just go, ouch. You would ask the director, you would be like, hey, what happened? Did I step on a tap? Yeah. Did I get burned by the stove? Did I hear Terry talking smack about me? Like, what?
Again?
You know what I mean? Like, again, like, yeah. And if it was again, that would be a different ouch, depending on how many times I've heard him do this, right? There are different pinches that cause different ouch responses. So why would you ever just kind of blindly take the mic and go, introducing the new Toyota Camry, right? It's like, it's empty. It means nothing. It's connected to nothing. It's vacuous. Wow. And that's what we mean by typical commercial sounding. But what will stop it from being typical commercial sounding is if you are responding to something and you have an intention as to why you're saying what you're saying. Okay. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So that is a very long answer, but I'm sticking to it.
There you go. Tabs is joining us. Hey, Tabitha, good to see you again this week. Odd question. It seems like the most likely way to have a successful business is to have a business that you can sell/exit. How would that work for a business where you are the product?
I'm still trying to figure that out because, like, every time I watch Shark Tank, they're always like, don't sell your time for money. And I was like, well, I'm doing everything wrong.
Well, let me put my pimp hat on and we'll talk, Tab. Okay.
Yeah. That is an unanswerable question from me. I don't know. I don't know how you would scale your voice work in terms of, like, you not being involved in it. I really don't know. I don't know. I wish I could answer. I'm sorry. I feel like a failure. I don't know. But I can tell you, if you figure it out, please call me.
All right. Raisin, DF. What's up, brother? Terry, take this one, if you would.
What is a big misconception / mistake when you frequently find new VO artists, and how do you help them redirect their process?
I'm going through the Rolodex of choices.
Come on.
Say that word.
Not gonna say it.
Damn it, I'm thirsty, woman.
Not gonna do it. I mean, I think for me, like, if we just keep this to, like, what I tend to cast, I think, and Terry and I laughed about this the last time I was on the show, but there's a lot of people out there saying like, screw the specs, don't read the specs, like just do you or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you that would be the equivalent of me calling you in live to an audition and saying like, oh, Mike, I'm so glad you're here. I just hung up the phone with the creative team and this is what they said they wanted. And you go, shh. No. I'm gonna do me, right? It's like you would never do that. That's what the specs are. So
you think, Tina.
I spend.
All right, so hold on for a
so
second,
much-
Tina. Hold on for 1 second. When you say that, right? What about if you just do it the way that you read it first and then go back and give you one of the specs?
I mean, it's up to you, but it's not about you. So that's the thing. Like that's what I'm really trying to. Here's what I'll say. What we're casting are essentially films. They're essentially short films, okay? And so you got to imagine the people who are choosing who's going to be the voiceover on these films are sitting in the edit bay with the finished shot film in front of them. They're like you're literally just, if you do that, you're just like blindfolding yourself and then shooting a dart at a board that you don't even know where the board is, right? You might hit it, you might get lucky and you hit it, but they're not listening to go, oh, we're listening as judges on America's Next Great Voiceover Talent Search. They're trying to get their story told exactly the way they imagine it in their head and the way they have taken time to hire casting and to spend a half an hour on Zoom with us, really trying to unpack it for us in a way that we get on the same page with them. So you want to think of us as matchmakers. So we have done all of that intake, and then they're trusting us to cast this very, very wide net. And so I use the specs as the literal filter through which I am listening to your auditions going, does this check every box that they said they wanted, right? And so you might accidentally hit it, but it would be an accident, right? So you can do whatever works for your process, but they're not interested in finding the coolest voice they've ever heard. They're not interested in finding the most entertaining voice they've ever heard. Like they're not interested in finding the funniest person they've ever heard do a voiceover audition in their life if it doesn't match their exact story. So it's about matching the tone, the energy, the vibe, and the way they envision hearing their story told. And that's all what we put so much care into the specs about. Does that help clarify that?
Absolutely.
Do you think they were very specific? They had a certain what's that word?
I'm not going to say.
Don't you
I'm not
even
going to
say
rest. I'm not doing it.
All right, Tony has a question
I may
for
be blonde, but I'm not drunk
question for
yet.
everybody. Do you prefer to stand or sit while recording?
This is one of my favorite questions.
Yeah.
On the count of three, gentlemen, what am I going to say? 1, 2, 3.
Sit.
Sit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Comfortable.
And
Sit
here's why.
back. You're at.
Relax,
Hey guys.
lean.
What's up, bud?
It
all
I
depends
got
on.
that.
It all depends on what it is.
She
It all
told me,
depends
she's
on
like,
what
I
it
don't
is.
ever want you to stand again. Ever.
don't
And
want
I'm
My
like,
wife is
okay.
pissed at me, but I'm doing it.
Okay, so here's why. I always want it to be backed in some kind of reasoning. Everything in commercials right now is about authentic, conversational, deeply connected, peer-to-peer sharing. How often do you have a deeply connected, authentic conversation with somebody standing up? Unless you're like at school drop off or you're, you know what I mean? Like even if you're at a bar with a buddy, you're sitting down at the bar. If
You're
if
leaning. Yeah.
you're leaning, you're at a
Yeah.
restaurant with somebody, it's like across the table, it's that intimate, you're on the couch with your partner with a glass of wine in your hand. It's all, so you want to so you cannot lie to your brain and your body. You cannot lie to yourself, right? So you want to put your body in the position that it's in to authentically have that conversation. So if you're standing up automatically, or even if I like really posture up, even sitting, all of a sudden, I swear to you, I'm not doing it on purpose. There's a difference in my voice right now than there is when I was down here. And for me to sound like this, sitting up, it actually is I'm like working hard to try to, I'm I don't even know if I can do it, but I'm like working really hard to try to like make it casual when down here it just is casual. So we want it that, like when you see in our specs, like dropped in and relaxed and comfortable in your own skin. It's, you got to be in that position to be those things.
It's
Otherwise,
like
you're
when you
fighting.
lean in to get intimate, you lean in
Yeah.
and you get intimate with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Back,
Yeah.
back up, Jim. You're making
100%.
me uncomfortable.
So, sorry, Mike. Personal space.
Now,
No worries.
if the commercial is like wacky and fun and playful, and we want a character or whatever, and you need to use your whole body and emote and like, you know, and pontificate and all those things, then great, stand up. You know, you want to make each one its own specific answer to that question. But I would say 90% of commercials, sitting down is the way to go.
Cool. I think you've already answered this question with numerous other questions, but I do want to put it up here. Can you speak more about range?
Can I speak more about range? That was my range. Very, very rangy.
Very low.
Very
Home on the range.
So range, again, is something I think you can showcase differently than I think most people approach it. So for me, range is subtle. And when we're looking for range, like we want everything to be in the ballpark of the specs and the tone of the story. Okay. So then how you can showcase range within that is changing your intention from take one to take two. And so it's not about like, oh, I want to show you everything I can do. Well, everything that you can do might not be appropriate for this story. Right. So range is more about like your body of work, like me hearing your auditions over a period of time and seeing like, oh, you can get really dropped in and really intimate and really connected on these. And then you can also do like a wacky sports announcer on something else, but I don't need to hear everything you can do on one particular audition. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
All right. Katie wants to just tell me to back up. This is our shirt number 2, I guess. We're making new shirts with things that are said throughout the show, so I guess that made it.
I love that one.
Wait, you need a shirt. We need a shirt that's from Taxi that says "Slow down."
Yeah. Slow.
That's got to be a shirt.
What do you do at a yellow light?
Slow down, Jim.
What do you do at a yellow light?
That's going on a shirt.
That's got to go on a shirt. Hey, listen, I'd like to stay true to our time with you because I know you are very, very busy. I believe I hit most of the questions that you have answered. May not have posted them all. We are still looking, it looks like, for some more plushies for the shoulders.
Okay,
We've had a couple of requests for that, so we should work on that. That might not be a bad idea.
There you go.
I'm gonna. You're.
You could pull a
hired.
string and say specificity. Oh, drink.
Yeah, exactly. Find the story. Find the story. Find the story.
All right, cool. Let's do a quick round of speed questions. Guys, I don't expect you to have any ready. You don't normally do it, but if you have some, just come right in. Speed questions, I need maybe 2 or 3 word answer. Okay? Favorite day of the... Yeah, you. I don't want to know about Terry. I mean, favorite day of the week?
Saturday.
Good call.
Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, that is so hard. Silver dollar pancakes.
Oh, all right. We'll take that one.
Specificity, see? Not just pancakes.
Silver
dollar pancakes.
Hang on, I'll ask my question in a second.
Nickname your parents used to call you.
My parents.
Mine was freeloader.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Tiny little Tina.
Tiny little
They
Tina.
used to sing that little
Tiny
song.
little
Tiny little Tina, tiny little Tina.
Right.
I'm aging myself.
Cats or bearded dragons?
Wait, what was the first choice?
Does it matter?
Cats or bearded dragons?
No, there is no. Yeah. There is no first choice. I refrained to answer for fear of disrespecting the one and only Cricket.
And he appreciates that he appreciates that. All right, Mike, do you have any?
What's your
I have
favorite
a whole
fast
bunch.
food?
What's my favorite what?
Fast food.
Burger King.
Cake or pie?
Burger King.
Oh, cake. What
Fill
am
in
I,
the
a
blank.
psycho?
Fill in the blank. Taylor Swift is?
The greatest artist of all time. And I believe the reincarnated soul of Shakespeare.
I think I said only 2 or 3 word answers, please. Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility.
And last but not least, is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
Or gummy bears.
Or gummy bears?
No, like if eating gummy
cowtails.
bears is wrong, I don't ever want to be right.
Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, Tina Morasco, thank you so much for being with us.
That was fun.
This has been a blast.
Fun show.
We try to have fun and get some information out there. Speaking of information, I had a whole screen set up with you with your, just for a minute. Don't freak out. Here we go.
Try not to.
Oh, it's Terry anyhow. Tina Morasco, coaching.com. Terry Morasco. No. If you want to check out the library or anything and everything, Tina Morasco, coaching.com is the place to go. You will not find Terry Briscoe there. Sorry.
No, but
guys.
Terry, look right into camera and say, "My name is Tina Morasco, and I approve this message."
My name is Tina Morasco, and I approve this message.
No.
Ooh.
Terry, I want you to lean back a little bit. Okay, I want you to
Gotcha.
like,
Gotcha.
what are you reacting to? Why are you saying this? Why do you approve this message? What is it about this message? I don't want to know. I want to feel what it is about this message that you approve.
Oh. My name is Tina Morasco, and I approve this message.
Such specificity.
Oh, specificity! Hold on, one more. Where's my triangle noise? Here we go. No, that ain't it either. Hold on, where are we? Here we are. Okay.
There we are.
Tina, thank you so much.
I cannot believe you called me out on like the over-under on how far away my Coke Zero was. That was my favorite moment of the night.
And
That is when you know.
The best part about
be
this is
very
that I have video and audio of Tina saying my 3 favorite videos by my Terry and Jim, of course. So that's going on all of our
There's
websites,
proof.
by the way. Yeah, that's going on all of our
yeah,
websites.
that's going on my
for
resume.
testimony.
Are you kidding?
And then at the bottom, you have to have Terry going, "My name is Tina Morasco, and I approve that message."
Of
That's
course
going
he
on your
does.
website.
Tina, thank you so much. Appreciate you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me, guys.
You can hang out in the green room if you want. We'll talk after the show. If not, I understand you have a lot to do. But
Yeah.
either way, we love you so much. Thank you.
I love you guys, and I'm jumping right back into casting. But everybody keep rocking it out there, and I'll be listening for you on the other side.
And on the inside.
And on the
On the yes, I'll be listening for you on the inside. Okay,
I'm gonna cut that
love you
clip
guys.
too. Love you too. Thanks, Tina. All right. Well, I had this set up for Rebecca Lee to say goodbye. So see you guys. We're out of here. J. Michael Collins in 2 weeks. Okay. Have a great weekend. Go Eagles. Sorry, Mahomes.